Tonight, a family remembers a Vancouver pilot killed on a return trip from his high school reunion.
43-year-old Anita Molstead was a familiar face to many in the flying community.
I don't think it will ever sink in. I think it's just going to be a hole that's never filled. I'm Dick Molstead.
I'm Anita Molstead.
We recently established an Eric Molstead Scholarship Memorial Fund in memory of our son Eric to support and encourage young women in pursuing math and science careers here at Upper Columbia Academy.
He loved the school. He did well in math and science, and he really focused on flying his radio-controlled planes, and a lot of his friends were influenced to join that particular club. That was his life, a huge part of his life. And then, of course, flying real planes as well.
Eric went on to get a degree in aviation science, started at Walla Walla College, ended at Andrews University back in Michigan.
He did all kinds of things. He worked at airports. He did a volunteer kind of thing up at a youth camp in the middle of Oregon, where he taught hundreds and hundreds of kids how to water ski, and he was a fanatic, could barefoot do, jumped out of airplanes, parachuted, got on America's Funniest Home Videos and came in third, so he used that money to buy a parachute of all things.
He was employed by a flight maintenance corporation, and of course they pack and ship a lot of materials. So his video was he packed himself in a box full of styrofoam, and when the secretary opened the box, he popped out.
Scared her to death.
Scared her to death. So that made America's Home Company's videos.
And going back, looking at his pictures, he just did all kinds of things with, boating and flying, but he was really about helping people, lots and lots of kids. I'm a former English teacher, and when I would take my kids on a trip to Washington, D.C., he'd always write me a check for the poorest kid in the class that had trouble fundraising. That was his. He loved doing that kind of stuff, just loved it. Inland Northwest Community Foundation provided a means that we can grow the funding for this to support more and more young women. And as I think about what this will mean to them, it so helps in our process of coming to terms with the loss of Eric.
It's his dream to fly into one of his high school class reunions. So in 2005, his class reunion was here on campus at the school. Eric was able to borrow a plane from one of his mechanic friends there at Pearson Field where he worked. Flew the plane up here on that Saturday. Left after having a grand time with his class friends. And unbeknown to Eric, the airplane had a leak in the muffler system. Carbon monoxide was being piped directly into the cockpit of the airplane. He was probably 5 minutes from landing. Then the radar track shows Eric's plane circling back over Vancouver Lake, crossing the Columbia River and crashing on the south side of the Columbia River. And Eric died in the accident. The accident was devastating to our family, as you can imagine. We couldn't drive by Pearson Field without Anita crying. So after 8 years, we really hadn't reached a healing point as a family with this grief from Eric's accident. And I said, enough is enough. We've got to see if we can make something good happen out of something that was really tragic for us. And so that's where we decided, let's see if we can create a scholarship fund in Eric's name at Upper Columbia Academy, a school that he loves, and make a living memory for Eric that would be a legacy that we could all be proud of. When I first came up with the idea of setting up a scholarship fund for Eric, I didn't really know where to start. So in talking with my financial advisor at Merrill Lynch, he said, you need to talk to In the Northwest Community Foundation. They are the people that will help you. We set up an application process, had, I think, 14 applicants, and we had to choose 3. Well, we did not choose 3, but the scholarship committee did, and they said, this is very difficult. Are you sure you can't fund 14 scholarships?
Oh, you should have seen the applications. It was amazing what they wanted to do with their lives, and they were beautifully written with, I'm a former English teacher, you know, I'm saying, oh my, this is awesome. So they were just such high caliber of applications.
Last February, we were invited to be on campus for the first presentation of the scholarship checks to these 3 young women, and the students gave us a standing ovation, which was just overwhelming.
And I've had a glass jar around me for 9 years, about, almost, so that I could contain this and not bother you with all my mourning, and it broke. It physically, I felt this shattering as I looked at these girls, and they were so happy, and we talked afterwards, and I just knew Eric would be so overjoyed to see us, me particularly, finally dealing with life the way I should, and so it changed my life. I'm smiling, and it's genuine.
So we had given 3 scholarships, freshman, sophomore, and junior, because they're renewable scholarships. They'll follow these kids through their high school career.
Hi, my name is Lily Mackin, and I am a student at Upper Columbia Academy. And I've always been really interested in the science of the body, and anatomy has really interested me. Because I'm from China, I want to help people over in Asia, where I am from, and I want to be able to bless them with my ability. The scholarship was like a love package because it was many things in one, and it was packaged with love. When they came and they presented it to me, they were open-armed and hugging me, and they were happy to meet me.
There's just some awesome students in our schools. And so if there's anything that we can do as a family to support and encourage these young women to pursue careers in science and technology, how rewarding is that? It's just awesome.
These girls have huge hopes for the future and want to do something to give back, to become physicians or scientists, to discover things, to help humanity. It's so touching, and to be a little part of that, I know how happy Eric would be. He would be, way to go, Dad, way to go, Mom. I can hear him say it.